I'm gonna start the recording, and I'm gonna start the stream, and we are live. Welcome to a special episode of Horsin Around. I'm your host, as always, Nick Mercadante, and with me today I have a really like a panel of guests this time. Well, I guess it's actually only one more than normal. But anyways, if you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
I'm Barry Allen, the Flash.
I'm Wally West, because Wally West is the Flash but black.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Batman.
Great. All right. We watched something today for 4 hours, like immediately before this podcast is recording. We watched the Snyder Cut.
I thought we watched the Shrek movie 3 times.
God, I wish that would have
Bro,
been...
Shrek, we just watched Shrek the Halls on loop.
Shrek the Halls. That's like we could have gotten like 20 viewings of that in.
Goddamn right we did. I know every line in that fucking movie now.
Did you just have that like as one? I remember I had that movie on my iPod as a kid, and it was just like one of the 4 movies I had, so I watched it a lot.
I think I caught it on TV
iPod
once,
screen?
and I just haven't been able to forget it ever since.
I had Inception on my iPod. I
Incredible.
only watched it once though.
Anyways, so yeah, we watched the Snyder Cut. I guess for background, pretty much none of us except for you, Lowell, have seen the theatrical release of Justice League. So
It has been a few years. I watched it like on release,
Yeah.
so I'm a little hazy on the details, but I remember enough to remember that this was a very different movie.
Right. And I basically the only other context I have for the theatrical release is I watched like the first 30 minutes of Red Letter Media's coverage of the Snyder Cut, and I just stopped myself before they started getting really into spoilers because I wanted to like just see it firsthand before I heard what they had to say. So I guess we could just start from the big overview of like what did you guys think of this movie? We could talk about it in terms of comparison to the old movie, but I think that one's pretty unanimous that it's better. Like, even having not watched the first movie, it just seems like, on all accounts, it's just better.
Question: is this whole thing going to be spoiler-filled, or are we doing a spoiler?
Yes, we're going to put this at the
section?
front. This is going to be very spoiler-filled. This is a spoiler cast, so if you haven't seen the movie, or if you haven't seen the Snyder Cut and you want to, go watch it before this, and come back after you have. Otherwise,
We'll see you in a day.
Yeah. Set aside some time. You're going to need it. But yeah, but just for first thoughts, like... I think it's obviously seems better than the theatrical cut, and I think just on the whole, I'm gonna say that I liked it a lot better than any of Zack Snyder's other movies that I've watched, which has been Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. And I think at the end of it, I am kind of looking forward to what comes next in this canon. I don't know.
And there won't be
There's nothing
any
coming
more.
next.
Canon's over.
This is the end. If
This is the end.
this is the end.
Didn't mean a
This
thing.
movie sets up some really fun sequels that will never come to pass.
Amazing. But yeah, what do you guys think after watching? What are your thoughts?
I like it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I mean, I think part of that's just because I remember watching the original movie and being like, should I leave? Like partway through. And this movie,
allowed to
despite
go.
being long, never gave me that feeling. So,
Mhm.
it's a little bit, a little bit of that. But I
I
think
will
the
give it
movie just on
credit.
its own was fun.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
Oh.
I will give it credit for a 4-hour movie. It did not get real bogged by the
Mhm.
fact that it's a 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
I think the movie was good. I don't think it was like amazing particularly, but it's
Yeah.
good. It's an enjoyable film. You can feel like if you paid for it that you got your money's worth.
I think the movie could have been 3 hours.
Yeah, it definitely.
Oh,
Could
yeah,
cut
for
down
sure.
A little. But
And
I'm saying like even at 4 hours, it didn't like drag super hard. There's like a couple slow moments, but nothing like crazy.
For sure.
I will say like it's like I would say it's like comparable to an average Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see
I
that.
did like that. This ending spoiler, I suppose.
Mhm.
So I watched like a review that talked about the ending. The way that they talked about it, it sounded like the villains won, like that was the end of the movie, not necessarily the villains win and then unwin.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Like it's
But like
it's-
even with that, I did like that they like were like the villains won, like
Yeah, the
Barry
thing,
had
the thing
to
synergized. Barry just got fucking blasted by that one Man, shout out to that parademon. Fucking taking the shot.
He's getting a raise.
MVP.
He's getting a raise.
Yeah. Also,
Too bad,
you
Bruce shot him in the head later.
Bruce fucking murked every parademon.
I was talking to my roommate about this, but when we saw that scene, I was like, sorry, I can't help but think about Batman walking up to a parademon with a laser pistol and putting it up to the guy and saying, "Give me all your money." And then when he doesn't, he shoots him, and then the white pearls on the parademon's neck onto the floor.
Every parademon wears a pearl necklace. And every time Bruce shoots them, it's a slow motion sequence of that pearl necklace hitting the ground.
And a tiny parademon.
Yeah, tiny parademon baby is just like screaming.
So sad.
And they become parademon Batman. Oh my god. Sorry. So, Bishu, what did you think on the whole?
The whole what?
The movie on a whole. Just so we get.
I like it. I think it was could have been 3 hours. It was very good. I think the second half of the film was a lot better than the first half, but the first half was necessary for the second half. I didn't care about any scene with Lois. Just didn't give a didn't give a fuck.
That's because she was given literally nothing to do. She was given a Lois scene would show up and it's like, Lois is sad. And I'm like, all right, got you. Is she going to do anything? And they're like, no, next scene.
Every part of the Superman mythos in the DCEU is probably the weakest part of the DCEU. Like, despite having gotten essentially a movie and a half dedicated to Superman,
I mean,
two and a half movies dedicated to him.
Yeah.
Kind of the weakest part of the DCEU.
If we're gonna make the fucking Avengers analogies, he is the Iron Man of this.
But Iron Man got a ton of development. Iron Man was like well developed every time.
But I'm
Superman
saying in the sense of like, if they're trying to fucking
misunderstood.
kickstart this universe, he was the first thing that we were introduced to for this universe, which was through Man of Steel. Like,
yeah, but also counterpoint, the first character you were introduced in the MCU was
okay.
Oh wait, no, Incredible Hulk did come out after Iron Man 1. Shit, I keep forgetting that happened. Yeah. That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
I remember people were talking about Incredible Hulk and Iron Man. They were like, "It's part of the same universe, man." And I was
right,
like,
that was huge. And then Warner Brothers, or not Warner Brothers, sorry. Universal
anyway,
was
Zach,
like, yeah, sorry. Go on.
The problem is that, look, I appreciate people who appreciate Zack Snyder's vision, and the thing I appreciate about this movie is I sit and I watch it and I'm like, yeah, this is a Zack Snyder movie, all right. No one fucking touched this. Zack went fucking nuts. Like, literal characters will be doing nothing, and he's like, I think we should have slow-mo and music montage over this. And you're like, but why? And he's like, it thematics intensifies the scene. And you're like, Zack, I don't agree with you, but you do you. So listen,
I appreciate
the Snyder cut, all right, bud.
I appreciate the several billion dollars that went into the CGI.
Ancestral wailing made everything that it was in way more fucking dramatic, dude.
Yeah, the ancestral chanting.
Every time that scene was fire.
For you folks that don't watch with blessed subtitles, every so often, whenever Wonder Woman does something, a subtitle will come up with "Ancestral Wailing Song" comes on.
No, it's Ancestral Lament.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Lamentation.
Yeah, it was every single time, and it was always when fucking Diana was gonna do some cool shit. So
it was fucking sick, dude.
My queen.
Real quick though. So, Jacob, what your overall thoughts on the movie were? Good, bad, troubled, mixed? Where are you at?
I was talking about this while you were away, but this movie oscillates. Good old Jacob classic sine wave between a 4 and a 6. But I don't want to give it a 5, so I give it a 4. That's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we're going straight to the scores.
Well, I mean, that's just a.
I'm using it. You're using it in order. He asked me to justify a complex series of emotions I felt about a film in a short amount of time.
We're gonna dive into it. So would you care to elaborate? Like what thing bothered you or what you liked?
It is because a Zack Snyder movie is meant to be a spectacle, and he does pull that off. But also, I sit there and I'm like, yeah, but I could do other things with my 4 hours.
Yeah.
we have invented other things to do instead of just stare. Like I do. Like once again, I appreciate sitting down and watching what is clearly a director's vision just on screen for 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's just that vision
Doesn't
did
vibe
not
with
really
you.
appeal to me. It kind of made me a little sleepy. I don't know. The one positive is maybe this will convince people that 4-hour long movies aren't scary, and then more people will want to watch Lawrence of Arabia with me, unironically. But
There's now a
You
Lawrence
mean-
of Arabia cast.
Look, man, we gotta watch Bahubali 2 and 1 in the correct order. We're gonna spend 6 hours, and that movie's fucking fire, dude.
I don't know. Look, I watched the full
The correct order is the first half of Bahubali 2, then all of Bahubali 1, then the second half of Bahubali 2.
What the fuck?
The second movie is a prequel and a sequel.
I don't even know what this movie is.
It's like The Godfather.
It is an amazing Bollywood movie. It is
Okay.
so good. It's so good.
Yeah, no, I can hear what you're saying there. And I think
I don't know. It's one of these things where like it's kind of this weird thing where it almost falls into this like middle ground of certain things where I'm like, it's not as bombastic as I think Aquaman is, where Aquaman is literally like, hey, have you guys heard of the brine people? And I'm like, dog, let's go.
we have
and it's like-
we have an Aquaman fan here.
I don't know. It's like one of these things.
I
where
will
it's like,
say, out of all the DC characters, Aquaman's the hypest.
Nah,
In the
Wonder
CU,
Woman.
I would agree.
Wonder
He
Woman.
is the most
What
hype.
Wonder, but that's the thing. Is like you're like, what are the two hypest of this group? And it is Wonder Woman and Aquaman, the two characters who I think have movies that actually kind of work. Like I have problems.
The ones whose movies didn't make me want to fucking shoot myself.
I mean, like I wouldn't say
Wonder
that.
Woman-
Like, look, I got a problem with Man of Steel, but like I don't know. I think I rank this alongside Man of Steel, where Batman v Superman is clearly like the lowest out of these.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I lie. Like I think Batman v Superman, Man of Steel is like a 4 out of 10, maybe a 5 movie. Once again, with the appreciation that I watched Man of Steel and I'm like, this is someone's like clear idea of what Superman is, and it like is clearly what good old Zachy boy like envisioned, and I can
Yeah.
appreciate that, even though I don't necessarily connect with it.
Mhm.
I also I have to check myself on my bias, because my influence for Superman is like I'm a huge like classic animated Superman type of guy. I'm talking like the 30s cartoons.
Holy fuck.
And
Old school.
and the Fleischer cartoons. That's it. And like Adam West Batman and like that type of old shit. So like when I think of superheroes, I think about them in that like old context of like, yeah, guys, look, superheroes are kind of hokey.
Yeah.
I want my superheroes to be hokey, or I want them to be hokey but also like convoluted. Like that's kind of the stuff I did enjoy in this movie, where it's like, all right, guys, you don't understand. They're like different parallel universes, and in some universe, Lois Lane dies, and then bad stuff happens, and Superman has to do that. But the problem is, then the movie doesn't spend time reacting to that, and I'm like, well, what's the point of
essentially that movie isn't necessarily an AU. That's a future. From
yes, that's
this
but
timeline.
that's the thing is like also what I was leading up into is a lot of my interaction with a lot of Justice League shit is Justice League the animated series, which I think is one of my favorite
We
animated
were talking
series of all
about
time.
this, or you were talking about this before
and
the show started.
Whenever they do all that alternate universe or future timeline shit, they then use the characters in our current timeline to react to that, so that you're already invested in the characters, and so thereby when they react to something, you also react to it emotionally. And it's that like I don't know.
They didn't really do a great
watching-
job of that
watching-
here.
there's so much cause in Zack Snyder movies, but there's not a lot of reverb effect in Zack Snyder movies. I feel like
I think it's funny watching just alcoholic Ben Affleck walk groggily outside to his like porch and be like, "Oh shit, that was a fucked and weird dream, huh?" And he was like, "Hey, what's up, Motion Manhunter?"
like that's the thing. Is like
yeah.
you're like, no, if you introduce an alien in the last 10 minutes, that's kind of like a big fucking deal, guys. Your main character should be like,
This might as well happen, I guess.
The idea of
See you around,
aliens
buddy.
is no longer a fucking foreign concept to Batman. He's like, well, we just fought a shit ton of them, so I guess there's more.
My thing is though, like,
But it doesn't
Batman
feel
literally was
earned to be like that.
Aliens bad. That's why Batman v
So,
Superman happened, and then suddenly like he's like, "Hey, what's up, new alien? Yeah, no context. Sure, you want to join up?"
So like,
Yeah.
I guess this is-
BVS wasn't necessarily alien bad. It was alien who is so much more powerful than anything we can do to stop bad because we don't have a way to stop him if necessary.
yes,
That
and
was
this-
like his logic behind it.
This goes back to my animated series problem, where like I've seen these arcs in the animated series, and they just do them better. Where they're like, all right, yeah, they're bad, but we also can't just like openly be like, fuck Superman, fuck you, because some people like Superman. So we're gonna create secret agency in order to study Superman, and then we're gonna literally create test subject dummy heroes to go fight Superman for us to find out what he's weak to.
But I also like the fact, like, I liked in the original Justice League like cartoons and stuff that like Batman ultimately becomes like, listen, I don't trust literally anyone because I'm a untrustworthy fuck. I don't like anyone. So I'm going to build the ultimate contingency plan against literally every Justice League character.
Yeah.
Right, but that takes some time to get to.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
there's
I
character
mean,
development, which I would say is my biggest gripe with this movie is like
yes, I was.
there's a
gonna get to
lack
that
of
too.
character development, or
Well,
there's forced character development.
It's not character. It's that all cause no effect issue that I have with the movie, and how Zack Snyder tells a story. In that, oh fuck, sorry, I'm just looking at myself and how pale I am.
I don't know how to break this to you, buddy.
Diagnosed
but
with white.
like I was talking to my roommate about this, and we spent 4 hours, and at no time is he like, hey, we should slow down the introduction and get like spend time like yes, we need to convince him to join scenes, but it doesn't feel like a discussion. It doesn't feel like people getting to know each other, so that then the audience can learn more about the individual characteristics as the characters in the movie learn about the individual characteristics of these characters.
Yeah, like the backstory with Victor, as like an example of what you're talking about. Victor gets and we'll can attest to this. Like apparently, Victor fucking Cyborg didn't have a backstory or anything
There was nothing.
in the
He
theatrical
literally,
release.
there's an opening scene where he's looking out the window at the kids, and there's almost no discussion with his father in that scene. He's just angry at his dad. Then he gets recruited by Diana in a very short scene, and I think he makes one joke, and then he fights, and that's it.
Yes,
Victor was fucking nothing.
And that's why this movie is better than the original Justice League, because
Right.
even though I still think it doesn't have enough, like, you know, hey, let's actually spend time going like beat to like this movie needs more like actual story beats rather than a constant drum roll, like, you know, pacing and that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying fucking buzzwords at this point. I hate how I argue sometimes.
No, you're making sense though.
But it's also saying that like the original Justice League, like you were saying, was literally like, I don't know, this guy with some robot parts, he's just here now. All right,
he just shows up. Yeah. And sorry, what were you gonna say, Nando?
I was just gonna say, like, to continue off, like, just to wrap up my Batman bit before. I don't like this Batman at all. I think he's the worst Batman. He is the worst Batman of all time. My thing is
not good.
My thing is like
counterpoint. BVS Batman.
Shut up, Luke.
That's still the same Batman though.
Yeah.
It's still Batfleck, and he's still bad.
Still Batfleck. My biggest problem, not only with the acting, but also just like the direction they brought Batman in, is like, I love Batman when he's just being the like giga-brain detective, like outplay everyone mentally kind of person.
Right.
And it hurts me to just see him be like, I'm gonna take alien gun and go pew pew. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is the most non-Batman way to solve a problem I've ever seen.
I hope and pray
Joker that he's gonna kill him. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's all in a dream. That's like I can excuse it from a dream.
That's not
standpoint.
necessarily in a dream, right? That is literally Batman in the future. Like, it is him during the nightmare timeline, which is presumably still coming to pass, because the Barry Allen flashback in Batman vs Superman is literally the Barry Allen we just saw.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know, but I hope and pray that the Robert Pattinson Batman that comes out in whenever. I guess at this point it's been rescheduled to hell thanks to COVID, but like it's coming out at some point. Hopefully, maybe they'll actually do some detective stuff with like the world's greatest detective.
They
like,
keep saying that. They keep saying that, but then they're also like, "But this one's gonna be twisted." And I'm like, "That's what everyone has said about Batman since like the '90s, dude.
Yeah.
Shut up."
Please just make him a detective again. Make Batman a detective again. I
like
like.
use
I don't
his
know.
brain to like solve problems.
Y'all
and
using
crime.
brains out here? That's not good, bro.
Like,
So imagine Batman being like, yes, I have learned so much shit in my life solving crime that I can outplay all my opponents instead of being like, ha,
God.
yeah,
Machine,
also
robot.
gun, also gun.
yeah.
So I've slowly used my minuscule brain cells in order to craft a actual conclusion about my not conclusion, but an actual fully fleshed out thought about my Zack Snyder thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Zack Snyder understands something about the DC universe that I really like, but he also misinterprets it in a way that he kind of misinterprets how he's misinterpreted things in previous movies.
Mm-hmm.
And that is in DC universe takes and I mean like in the comic universe, takes a very different approach than Marvel. I was talking about this earlier while we were watching the film, where Marvel Stanley was like, these are all like human beings to some extent. Like they're all like just a couple of dudes, just a couple of guys. And DC is like, no, you don't understand. All right, so the pantheon of gods, 5,000 years
God,
ago.
I don't understand the gods of DC. I don't understand.
And you're just like, what's going on? And I kind of like that weird shit in DC a lot. And also like when people talk about, oh, superheroes are the modern and like are the modern allegory / interpretation of like Greek god.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Zack Snyder kind of gets that. And I think he gets that because in my opinion, DC is closer towards what Greek gods are. Literal like metahumans.
Yeah.
Who have like just weird powers, and you're like, what the fuck's happening? I don't understand.
The classic analogy that I've heard is like, you know, in Marvel, it's humans trying to play God or trying to live up to godhood, and it's in DC, it's gods trying to be human.
Yes, I love that. I love that description exactly. And look, it is not me saying one or the other is superior. I just end up
they're just different takes.
Throughout my time, I just ended up gravitating a little bit more towards that DC style of gods trying to be people.
Yeah,
but that's what I think is like. Zack Snyder is also makes sense as a good pick because he is literally someone who has done 300, which is like a literal like Leonidas. It was potentially a real person who did do the big fight, but like it didn't happen that way. But also 300 literally makes him out to be like a demigod basically.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for him to do that. But then he misinterprets. But at least. Maybe it's not even a misinterpretation. It's his interpretation, and I just disagree with his interpretation. But the main reason I like animated Justice League and the Greek pantheon is because it is literal gods trying to be humans, and not in a we have to like relate to humans way. It's like no, there's fucking melodrama, there's fucking dramatic shit going on, there's interpersonal dumb bullshit that happens where like you know. Hera gets mad at you for spinning the yarn too well. Get fucked. Like it's that type of shit where I just like one of the most memorable parts of Justice League Unlimited is fucking Hawk Girl and Green Lantern fucking have a relationship, break up. Green Lantern starts dating a different person, and then they have to deal with that shit when Hawk Girl shows back up. And you're like, what's happening? And you fucking love it because you're like, this is the melodrama shit I want. I want gods to fucking date each other and then be like, oh no, my ex showed up to the fucking Batcave. What the fuck do I do? Like,
yeah. And that's just not really what's happening.
And that's not how Zack Snyder interprets it. Zack Snyder interprets gods as like sort of the kind of more, I don't want to say like the more monotheistic idea of gods, like the Abrahamic idea of God of like, they're like all powerful like beings and that are cool, and they've got immense power, and sometimes they end up on a cross and they T-pose on like Like that's
Sometimes
Zack
they
Snyder's
just end up on a cross.
that's Zack
Some
that's Zack
random
Snyder's
psychosis.
interpretation of like the pantheon and thereby the DC pantheon.
Yeah,
Is
he
he
seems
sees them
very
as
much
he
like
sees them as
a
gods, but not as the like melodramatic,
just
shit of the Greek pantheon, but
right.
of how monotheistic religions have described gods as sort of like these sort of omniscient beings that are good, but also, the world's just bad. So that's
Yeah.
why they're around, because the world's bad and you need good God to help stop bad world.
Yeah.
And for me, I just don't connect with that because I, you know, good and evil narratives need at least like I don't connect with them as easily because usually it is just like these are the good guys, these are bad guys. Okay, I want the drama shit.
Yeah.
That's why when a really memorable scene in this movie is when like Flash doesn't know how to like talk around Diana and Bruce
Oh
after
yeah.
coming off the plane, and he's like, "Oh shit, that's your symbol. You're fucking Batman." And he's like, "Oh wait, I'm not supposed to fucking say that." And like Batman looks like he wants to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of that's a dynamic. There we
Yeah.
go. We got some interpersonal
That's some
stuff
human
where,
character interaction going on.
yeah,
It's real cool.
Flash is inexperienced to being a basic a metahuman.
Right.
But Batman and Diana have been living this shit for a while.
Yeah.
That's interesting dynamic. Let's fucking build on that. Like in a different movie, what you would do is you would have Diana and Bruce either together or maybe separate, going to them individually, and then you get a little bit of bonding time. You get a little bit of time
We get one scene of
hang
that.
out.
We get one scene of that where they're at the computer researching all the people from the fucking iMovie folder that Lex Luthor
and
left behind.
they accidentally touch each other's
touch
hands.
his hands. It's like,
And it's like, ooh, we can't do that. And I'm like, thank you. That's all I wanted. That's all I want.
Give me more of that, please.
I want a little bit more melodrama. I want a little bit of spice.
Yeah.
On the salami.
But yeah, to the negative side of that, and Lul, you were pointing this out, and it's the most evident. I think we've already discussed this, but it's most evident with Superman and like his characters in this DCU.
It's just so fucking weak.
It's like yeah, like you were saying, how
Superman
his only connection
this...
to humanity is Lois Lane, right? Like
when these kids like walk up, this isn't in this movie, this isn't a previous movie, but like it still applies here, right? These kids walk up to him and they ask him like, "What do you like about Earth?" And he looks off and like however the scene is shot, it's very much implied that he's thinking about Lois Lane, right?
Yeah.
Superman is supposed to be, 07 Boy Scout that cares about all of humanity, that will do anything to save anybody. And sure, the movies get really weird with Pa Kent being like, you shouldn't save people, but like Superman himself, even if Pa Kent is weirdo, Superman clearly goes out of his way to try and save people to some extent. But the movies have this weird interpretation where he doesn't really give a shit about a lot of people if it like he cares about Lois and things in relation to her, right?
Sorry to just jump in and potentially cut you off, but it's the, in my opinion, it's the Zack Snyder God complex thing again of like, no, Superman's a god, of course. He just gets to decide what he cares about.
He seems very much like a God-fearing man rather than a God-loving. He
doesn't. It's fine. He likes Lois Lane. Why would he have to care about the everything else? And it's like, no, dude. Like, one of the original points of like this is why people are like, ooh, Superman's so boring. He's got all the powers. It's like, no, Superman isn't boring if you interpret him the right way. Because yes, he has all the powers, but what I'm gonna keep bringing up fucking Justice League animated series again because fuck me. Like
it's a good series.
I said this before. This started is like, how do you balance out Superman? The point of Superman is that like his upbringing defines him very much in almost every interpretation. And the problem is that Zack gave him the same upbringing as most interpretations of Superman, except Pa Kent's kind of a dick sometimes. And then Superman is just like Earth. I guess I can chill here. And you're like, it really feels like he should be a little bit more invested. He loves his mom. Like, can you like give us some of that? Like,
yeah,
just anything.
Like there were scenes in both Justice League and or in the Snyder Cut at least. There probably were in the theatrical as well, but like in Justice League and Batman vs Superman and Man of Steel, like, but specifically with Justice League, just because that's the most fresh in my mind, where he's like standing out in the wheat field, and he's genuinely like, Henry Cavill does a good job of like emoting just like the feeling, I don't know, the feeling of being alive and like just taking in like the environment around him. That really like felt to me like super genuine, like he is just breathing in the earth that he's living on, and he's like happy to, you know, be in the land of the living again, and he like loves to, you know, be living with people and stuff like that. But then everything else is just like so counteractive to that, it seems, at a certain point. It's just like you seem to do such a good job sometimes even without dialogue, but then other times you're taking away from it just by his actions.
I think Superman and Batman are the two weakest characters in this movie.
Which is really funny, considering...
They both suck.
Yeah.
They're not good.
Considering they're the ones with the most, like, lead-up, at least, you know, before the theatrical cut came out. It's just like...
Cyborg...
But Wonder Woman's movie came out before this, didn't it?
Did it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
it did?
Oh, okay.
Well, wait, you talking about the second one?
No, the first one.
Wonder Woman came out after Batman vs Superman, but I'm pretty sure Wonder Woman came out before Justice League.
Before the theatrical cut.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Okay. Well, then I guess Wonder Woman got some stuff leading up to the
But I think that's the problem, is like Batman, a literal human, and Clark Kent, a alien who grows up as a human, are literally some of the two most quote unquote human characters in DC canon. Like, sure, you have a lot. I mean, of like the big boys.
Yeah,
like they're very human characters.
Well, they're like the big three is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. So yeah,
and Wonder Woman. Yeah, of the big three, those two are the most like quote unquote human. Like Wonder Woman has always had like her humanity, but she's also always been sort of like an Amazon who is flying around
born of the gods.
Yeah, born of the gods. Also, literally, she flies around in a winged jet that is invisible. Like she has the power of the Amazons. She doesn't have the same like the exact same. I'm sure there are interpretations where she does, but the interpretations I know most well, and I assume most people know most well, is Amazonian Diana.
Yeah,
and like it's I'm gonna keep harping on the argument I made earlier, but like it's the God thing where Zack Snyder is like, no, these people are so much more powerful than the average human being. Why would they be connected to regular people? In fact, disconnecting them from regular humans makes them more godlike. And I'm like, yes, Zach, but it also disconnects it from me, a regular human being.
I am human, Zach.
Every single person watching this movie, a regular human being.
Like,
you can say that about yourself. I'm built different personally.
Oh my god,
fucking understand it more. But like, sorry, Zach, I live in a house, and I eat food, and I talk to
like
other
a
humans.
fucking pussy.
I honest to God think that some of this is just like Zack Snyder legitimately in his own head is actually saying to himself, yeah, I'm just built different, guys. Like, I don't know. Like, you guys are regular people, but I'm just built different.
I relate to this. I don't know about all of you guys.
His god complex is just leaking into the movies.
Everyone's top 3 favorite scenes. Top 3. Let's hear them.
All right, hand touch, Batman looking upset at Barry, and I guess puts hot dog in pocket.
So good.
So good.
Oh my god.
I like the the Flash going back in time scene.
Yes.
Yep.
Your Batman scene.
Your Batman scene? Which one was that?
That's your symbol. Like.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah.
And I'm a sucker for the fucking riding the dead parademon.
Oh, that was so good.
Oh yeah. Aquaman says, "My man." That's my favorite.
My man.
My man.
Oh my lord.
He was like, I caught you from falling, also I'm gonna throw you as a projectile.
And it works! He knows. See, Cyborg would only do that because he knows Aquaman can pull it off, and he fucking did. So it's all good. I would say my top 3 were I gotta agree with you. Barry reversing time was so fucking dope at the end. The scene where Clark is just standing in the field, like just without words, even before Lois comes up to him and talks to him, like just him
That's
standing
one of
out
your
there.
favorite scenes?
I don't know. I like as I said it, I was thinking back to it. I was just like, wow. I don't know. It felt good. Just it made me feel good. So it just sticks out in my mind. And the scene. Shit, it was just in my head and now it's falling out. Why'd you fucking distract me, Pichu? Fuck!
Why'd you pick that scene as one of your favorite scenes? It's real quick. I can't believe it.
Ah, shit. Alright, wait, come back to me. I'll see if I can remember what the third scene was.
My favorite was obviously the Flash running back in time. Like that a lot. I think the second one would be the cyborg sequence in which he goes into the mother cube and has that talk. Actually like that a lot. Then he calls Superman. And he
Oh,
pulls
yeah.
out the cube. That was very pretty. I like that a lot.
Mhm.
And number 3 is any scene where Wonder Woman fights because she's my queen.
I simp for my queen alone.
Ancient Lamentations.
Gal Gadot!
Yeah. I'm very basic, and I agree. The Barry going back in time moment
Very good,
was
very good.
super cool. I like the CGI in that a lot. Like seeing every little piece get put back. That was just
Yeah,
awesome.
that was that was something when we were watching the movie. I was saying, like, yeah, they literally are animating like the bones being reanimated, and then the muscle, and then the flesh. It's just like, all right, this probably would have been cut in theatrical version. Like, even if Snyder had his way for the first time around, like, you're not showing that to the public.
I mean, the one thing I do like about that scene is that we know it wasn't going to happen, but like for a split second they actually made like. You have a guy that can manipulate time. Okay, all right. So we're gonna fix that immediately. But even still, at least the bad guys like kind of lose. Like they kind of lose for half a second.
Having watched that review that talked about it, I genuinely thought that they were going to lose.
Really?
Because the review, the way that the Cosmonaut video, but the way that he talked about it, he said the bad guys lose, which leads to one of the coolest scenes of all time, and then right after that he talks about the epilogue scene. So I genuinely. Yeah, the good guys lose. So I genuinely thought there was going to be bad guys win, Barry tries to undo it, Barry fails, and then the epilogue scene was just the main timeline. Because since this is the last Zack Snyder movie in the DCEU, as far as we know, I figured he was just like, fuck it.
Yeah, he just fucking nukes it. God, that would be so ballsy, and I would love it if he's just like, fuck it, they just lose. Darkseid wins. Goodbye.
Yeah, after that, number 2, I'm a sucker for Aquaman. I really like that scene where he just rides the demon
That's so
dude,
good, yeah.
and he's just like fucking their shit up. I like that.
Rules. Nando, you said you haven't seen Aquaman yet.
I have not seen it.
Dude,
you're gonna like it.
You gotta watch Aquaman.
I mean, yeah. After seeing this, I'm
if
like,
you're like, dude, I like Jason Momoa. Congratulations. Here's a movie that is basically 2.5 hours of Jason fucking Momoa.
It is 2.5 hours Jason Momoa, and also you get to constantly make Spider-Man 2 jokes.
Oh, right, because Willem Dafoe's there, yeah.
Willem Dafoe is a scientist in that movie. He's an underwater scientist, and the whole movie is just,
fucking
I am
rules,
something of a scientist myself. That's the whole movie. I love it.
And then number 3, it's kind of tough. There's a lot of scenes that I think can vie for number 3 for me, but I liked when Steppenwolf was fucking up all the Amazons. I felt like that was a pretty hype battle, and like kind of showing like. I like that Steppenwolf looked like an actual menacing character. Yeah. I had heard that in the original movie he was just kind of like.
Yeah, he definitely looks different.
Did he look different?
He looked different. I do remember. I do like his design in this. I've seen like the before and after. His original, where he was just like boneless dude, versus now where he's like actually just like a demon. That's hype.
Oh, I remember
Superman came.
And I also really like his reactive armor. That shit looks so cool. Like
yeah, this was we were sort of screen sharing for this movie, so the quality was kind of cut off at the knees for at least me. I don't know about you guys, but like I definitely have some desire to watch this like on a better screen or maybe in theaters if they ever decide to. I don't think they'll ever put this out in theaters, but I don't know. If they do.
Yeah, he was just like a regular dude, and now he's like a metal man.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the where he was like fucking up all the Amazons. Like it really showed like this is not just like some wimpy dimpy Batman villain.
Yeah, wow, he does look different. He's definitely more human looking in the theatrical cut than he is in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a problem when
Right.
you have a guy named Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
He should look like a wolf, obviously.
Right.
Yeah. Woo.
Clearly. Also, I remember my third favorite scene, and it is sort of a jokey one, but I do love the conversation with J.K. Simmons as fucking Jim Gordon, and then he's just like saying his last bit, and then he turns around, and everybody except for Flash, the fastest man there, is gone, and the Flash is like, oh, they just left. That's kind of rude. And then he also just leaves.
You gotta keep up with them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know where to go. Like, how do you know where
I
to
don't
go?
know. Probably back to base.
That scene was a little weird. That was one of those parts where I was like, this really didn't contribute much to the movie other than like you go there and they're like, oh, they could be on Rikers Island right over there, and they're like, all right, we're leaving now, and you're like, why do we come here then?
Look,
I'm
I'm
always scene with
down.
Barry Allen.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
That scene feels very like up the alley of what you were talking about, like that you wanted in this kind of movie, right? Like,
I mean, you're right. I just kind of like, I don't know. It's one of these things where you're like, I don't know. I want those types of scenes, but I want them to be effective. I don't want to leave things on the film reel that we could have, supplemented at some other point with something.
And we
else.
definitely only just barely scratched the surface on Jim Gordon, because he kind of just like, to your point, he did just
I
show
guess
up.
that's what I was talking about. Is he kind of just like shows up and you're like, why is he here? Oh, it's so that we can have Jim Gordon here. Like you could have just had you could have shortened that scene up a little bit for like,
you could have had
hey Batman,
like,
is this you?
and Victor.
No, that's not me. All right, I'm going to Rikers Island now. All right, bye.
Yeah, but I don't know.
So, unrelated, kind of jokey topic.
Sure.
Do you think we're gonna keep decapitating the big bad guy? We decapitated Thanos. We've just decapitated Steppenwolf.
Watch out! You're about to get Jacob talking about big bad guys in movies. You're gonna get upset.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are we just gonna bring a guillotine to every villain that comes up now?
I mean,
Look,
beheading
it's
is just
it's the subliminal communist messaging that I've been putting in all of film. I'm bringing it back.
Oh boy, it's just a cool way to fucking end people. Like decapitation is just like such
it's
a
a cool way to end people, like Jeff Bezos.
Fuck.
All right, well,
as we're streaming on Twitch, please don't ban me.
Looks like Nick is gonna lose his partnership.
This is not direct action. This is not implication of direct action.
We're
Please
in
don't ban me from
Minecraft,
Twitch.
guys. We said in Minecraft.
Oh my god.
Dude, there's a guillotine mod in Minecraft. That's pretty sick.
There almost certainly is.
Oh man.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's funny, but it was just like, yeah, that's a really cool way for Diana to just like, she didn't even need to do that, right?
It felt kind of excessive. I was like, this guy's like
To be
fucking.
fair, he
done.
wasn't dead. He wasn't dead yet. He was going back to his planet, but I was making sure that like even if like you're gonna come, like Darkseid's gonna come back, you're coming back without Steppenwolf at the very fucking least.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, like, I don't know, like,
Mhm.
come on, like, what? You're just gonna send him back?
Listen,
He's
we-
going
we-
back to the portal
we-
anyway.
we
Like, we
need-
just have to.
Yeah, and then when
like,
Darkseid shows up, they're gonna with his forces. He's gonna be one Steppenwolf lighter.
Listen, I'm just saying they just needed another excuse to do another ancient lamentation. I'm just saying.
Is it really a DC villain called the Sad?
Wait,
That does sound like
Yeah,
a DC
yeah.
villain.
It's Desad.
Oh my
DESAAD.
God, no.
You ain't even watched Doom Patrol. You don't know.
Did you hear Murky talk about this like 5 times throughout the movie whenever they bring up the sad?
He looks so
Oh
sad.
yeah, he's literally the Sad. That's him. Like his
They
name's the
bring
Sad.
Did they bring up the Sad in Justice League?
Yeah.
When?
That's the
Several
guy he was talking
times.
to. Steppenwolf
Yeah.
is talking to Desad the whole movie.
Oh!
Yeah.
I thought you meant like the Sad.
Yeah, that's
Remember
what I
that
thought,
fucking
too.
guy at all.
Anyways,
Is
on the
Desad.
topic of Desad and fucking fuck Darkseid's accomplices, I want to show you guys the other person that I was yelling about right at the end. Because there was a second person besides Desad that was walking alongside Darkseid.
The grandma.
Yeah,
Yes.
Grandma Goodness.
Granny Goodness is
Granny
a legitimate villain that exists in the DC extended universe, and they fucking showed her. Here, I'm gonna put it in the Horsin around chat, and I'll show it on stream in a second. Copy, paste. There we go. So that, I mean, it's a blurry shot, but you guys saw the movie, so you know what that is. But in the TCEU, there's just a fucking grandma that is like...
She's a grandma. She lives on Apocalypse with Darkseid and all the other, Apocalypse crew. She tortures people.
Yeah. She's Granny Goodness is a sadistic and cruel lieutenant to Darkseid, despot of the Apocalypse. She oversees training in her orphanage and commands the female Furies. Like,
hell yeah.
There's just a fucking evil grandma that Darkseid has on his team, and it's just like, I'm so happy that they at least showed her in passing, just to acknowledge that she exists and is like canon in this super grim dark reality. There's still just a fucking grandma that's just fucking shit up.
But that's what I'm talking about. This is the type of weird shit that I love DC for, where you're just like, so what you're telling me is that the grandma runs the fight pit, and they're like, yes, grandma runs the fight pit. And I'm like,
Granny Goodness just fucks up the fight pit. I hope to God, I mean, if any of this continues at all, which it's not even sure if that's gonna happen.
Won't.
Yeah, it won't.
It will not.
Why are you guys
Kinda sad.
It could make money. I don't know. Do you think?
Warner Brothers is being very poorly run right now, and they're literally like, hey, you know all the goodwill we built up with the directors we have on hand? What if we fucking burn that to the ground? And everyone's like, fuck you.
Yeah, that is true. They're doing a very poor job of keeping anything intact. So
I am sad we didn't see just one Darkseid Omega Beam where it's just the angular laser.
Oh,
that just
yeah.
You did. It's in the flash forward, yeah.
Yeah, when he was underwater and he Omega beamed the Atlantean behind him.
Oh, I guess I might have missed that.
Oh, no, yeah, it was when he was having his dream of conquering the world, and, evil Superman was there for a second, but it was basically... actually, no, it's what happened when they were reviving Superman and they activated the Mother Box, and then Darkseid got the signal, because, it activated a fucking blast or whatever, and so he then saw a potential future where he just fucking wrecked everybody, and then he just ruled the world, so he had a beam there. I forgot that too, though, so...
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I it's such a weird thing, but I love that power. I love that he just has fucky wucky lasers that just go beep, 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 beep.
Yeah. You dodge him, you know where it's going.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would love a 90-minute movie of just Darkseid Omega beaming people.
You can simply play just main Darkseid in Injustice, easy peasy.
Then I have to play Injustice.
That is true. You will have to play Injustice, the main Darkseid in Injustice.
Well, not even it's not even in Injustice. He's in Injustice 2, right? Or is he in Injustice 1 as well? I think he's only in 2. Because
he might only be in 2. He might only be in 2.
He was dropped as DLC in 2.
What's wrong with Injustice Gods Among Us?
Nothing's wrong
with
it.
Man,
I'm just trying to think of what
I sure do
is.
love playing against Deadshot. What a fun and interactive game this is.
Okay, Lord. You can't even do a quarter circle because you have weak
did quarter circles all night last night. You watched me do quarter circles.
And we're derailing.
You watched me do quarter circles.
I love the lore of Lul having weak thumbs. What does that freaking mean? I don't know. Lul has it. He has weak thumbs.
I do have weak thumbs.
I
play fighting with a fight stick because I play with the PS4 controller. I have to use a D-pad.
Yeah.
10 minutes, my thumb is screaming at me and bleeding. But with a fight stick, I can just go.
Dude,
and then my thumb isn't. Or I could just play with a fight stick.
Dude, just build calluses on your thumb.
I could simply play with a fight stick and keep my hands baby smooth.
But anyways, I don't know. We talked about 3 favorite scenes, which is a good idea.
We didn't give a final score. We haven't done that. We do Jacob cut straight to the
Jump the gun, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like scoring with numbers is always a fucking weird thing.
It's very arbitrary.
Yeah.
It is very arbitrary. I literally gave my score by saying, I don't know, it's somewhere in between a 4 and a 6. Choose somewhere along that axis.
Yeah, it was alright. It was an okay movie. I will agree that there have been movies that have moved me a lot more than this. I don't think this is. It's a popcorn
Absolutely.
movie, but it's 4 hours, so it's like it's kind of a
I
weird.
could have watched Lawrence of Arabia again, dude. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Endgame, much better.
Yeah.
I need to watch more
Oh, yeah.
4-hour-long movies because I just keep going back to the Lawrence of Arabia well for this joke.
I'm not a coward. I'll give it a score. And
Sure.
I don't care how arbitrary it is. I'll give it
Okay.
a 7 out of 10. Get
I
Stuckmanized.
I would do a 6.
yeah, I would agree with a 6. I say like as somebody who I've watched other DC extended universe movies. I watched like Shazam. I watched Aquaman. Aquaman was fun. Shazam was fun, and Joker was Taxi Driver, but I had fun with it. I also legitimately feared that somebody was going to stand up and say we live in a society and then shoot up the theater as I watched it.
Yeah, but
So-
don't worry, the Joker did it in the movie, so no one had to.
No, he did it. He did it. That's what brings it down. All right, I might have
No,
given it a
Nick,
7, but
Nick.
it's now a 6 because he didn't say we live in a society.
Yes,
They
in this
cut
movie,
that
he
line.
doesn't say we live in a society, but in Joker 2019, he literally says we live in a society, and I.
Well, he doesn't
fucking
say
lose my
exactly,
mind.
but yes, he basically says
You're
we live
right.
in a society.
Nick,
A loner who lives in a society!
My life from a tragedy into a comedy. You really
I
got
don't
me
know.
there.
I thought Joker was an interesting movie, but yeah, I would give it a 6 out of 10 as well. I have some reinvested interest in things that this universe could do, but it's probably not gonna do them, like you guys said, because apparently Zack Snyder's done making these movies.
I want more Wonder Woman, but not 1984.
I want more Aquaman.
There is
Aquaman
more
would be good.
There is Aquaman 2. They're making Aquaman 2. Aquaman made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're
But-
gonna.
but so the question is it going to be any good? Because 1984 was a sequel to one of the best DC movies. in
Right.
years.
So-
Yeah, but Wonder Woman 1 had a lot of problems, and 1984 is kind of like just bonkers. I didn't see it, but like from what I've heard,
I
it's
tried to watch it and fell asleep immediately.
Oof.
Everything,
I literally in the first 10 minutes was
they're
like,
just things that just don't make sense in that film. And
Yeah.
also, I can't believe it.
I watched.
can't
So I'm getting this secondhand, but I watched the Red Letter Media video on Wonder Woman 1984, and their leading theory was that Patty Jenkins was just director for for Wonder Woman 1, but she wasn't writing or anything, and I think they just gave her everything for 1984. And so that they're theorizing.
so the way that Pat Jenkins talked about the first movie, she essentially directed. She essentially was like the creative vision behind everything, and then DC made her put in the last 15 minutes that
which is the literally I'm like, I watched Wonder Woman 1 and I'm like, you know what, the Themyscira stuff that doesn't work for me, but everything else is working for me. I kind of really enjoy this movie. And then like the thesis of the movie is concluded when Chris Pine is like, maybe sometimes people are just bad, like that sometimes the world is just like fucked and you just got to deal with it. Like you can't just explain it away with some big bad guy. And Patty Jenkins goes, all right, we did it. We finished the movie. And then DC comes in and is like, hold up, you didn't finish the movie. Here's 15 minutes of fighting the big bad guy who's the reason everyone's evil. And you go, but why, DC? Why have you done this?
Yeah. Patty Jenkins was responsible for essentially every good thing in that movie and was forced to put in the only bad thing. I don't think that she would suddenly drop the ball with the second movie and like.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't know enough about the information about the movies or the production to really say what happened
But
there. That's
Cheetah
just
can walk in heels now, Nick. She can walk in heels now.
But you know
Yeah.
what's exciting? James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
that
That
does
trailer
look
came out.
exciting.
I'm fucking excited.
Yeah.
Shark Sylvester Stallone, baby.
Hell yeah, dude.
And
I will not give my input because in my opinion, my favorite James Gunn movie is Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. So I can't really, I'm not allowed to have opinions about James Gunn
yeah,
anymore.
wait a minute. That's so weird, Jacob, because I always remember your
That
opinions
movie
of
gave
James
me
Gunn
actual
explicitly
nightmares
being
for
tied
years.
around how you didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy, and like.
My point still stands. my point still stands. I just said the best James Gunn movie is fucking Scooby-Doo 2
Did
Monsters
he
Unleashed.
stutter?
No, I
Did I
understand. I
stutter?
just thought you didn't like James Gunn's movie style making, because I feel like he's been pretty consistent throughout all his movies, but maybe I just haven't seen enough James Gunn.
I don't know. Like I really need to feel out the new Suicide Squad if it works, because look,
Wait,
J-
James
J-
Gunn wrote a short skit called PG Porn, For people
Yes.
who
Yeah.
love everything about porn except the sex.
It is
Yes.
an incredible skit. It's got Nathan Fillion in it. It's A+.
My problem is I watch Scooby-Doo 1 and 2 and I go, yes, these are written by James Gunn. And then I go beyond Scooby-Doo 1 and 2 and I went, wow, James Gunn continues to write Scooby-Doo 1 and 2. How'd he do this? How does he trick people into being like,
Believe it or not, every James Gunn movie is actually part of the
it's
Scooby-Doo
actually
experience.
just Scooby-Doo, dude. It's
Oh
just
shit! That
Scooby-Doo 1
means
and 2.
Scooby Doo is part of the MCU. God damn!
And DCEU,
We have
dude.
Ultra Instinct Shaggy.
Oh,
my
you
God.
are Shaggy,
I understand that's a unjoke slash UJ. I'm going to say, like, I understand that Guardians is not the same as Scooby-Doo 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I look, but still, it's one of these things where when I watch a James Gunn movie, he comes through the script so much that I'm like, I see. James is on this one.
James is up in here. Yeah. And I mean,
But Shark Sylvester Stallone.
that's so
All
fucking
I'm
good,
saying.
man. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I just want to watch the movie just for that because I think Sylvester Stallone is funny in the most awkward way.
Yeah,
because
and putting him in the body of a
because
fucking
he's-
CGI shark is like the perfect way to utilize that. Like it's literally they're just doing like I mean they're not just doing it over again, but you could draw the comparison between Shark Sylvester Stallone and using Fast and the Furious guy. Shit.
Dominic Druid. No, fuck. Vin Diesel.
He said the
Call his
character's
character
name.
name first. Vin Diesel as Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, it's the same type of thing where he's just doing super simplistic things, but it's a super famous actor. It's just like, you're underutilizing him, but at the same time, it's fucking great, because it's like, he's that actor, but he's just saying, I am
Vin
Groot.
Diesel's not the greatest actor in the world. So.
No,
How
he's a...
fucking dare you? Have you watched every Fast and Furious movie?
It's
I don't
about
know
family,
goddamn thing.
Brandon.
It's a fucking familia.
But I agree with you. The bottom line, I
watched
agree with you,
every
Daniel.
Fast and Furious movie over the course of 2 days, really, and then the plan was to watch all of them over the course of 1 day. Turns out there's a lot of fucking Fast and Furious. We got to
It's almost like there's 9 of them!
we started at like 9 a.m. watched them straight through, only taking time to shotgun a beer between movies, and it was like 1 a.m. at the start of the 5th movie, and we were like, all right, we'll watch it next weekend. We picked up from the 5th movie, watched all the way to the last movie, and then went to see Hobbs and Shaw in theaters because it came out that day.
Oh my god.
And it's incredible. It is an incredible franchise. It's literally, you watch the first movie and you're like, oh man, they're racing cars and stealing TVs. And the last movie's like, there's a fucking bomb. There's Secret Service, and you're like, how did they get here? But when you watch them back to back to back, right? Every movie is like a logical escalation, other than 5. 5 is a very big leap, but other than that, they're logical escalation.
But what's funny about 5 is 5 is the one
involved
that
the secret of,
reinvigorates the franchise because of how big of a leap it is.
Sure.
That's probably,
5
like, if you
5 is when
trace where
Jason-
people started to really... I mean, I guess maybe people were always following Fast and Furious. I guess that's how they made 4 of the first movies. But it seemed like I hadn't really heard about how crazy Fast and the Furious was until the 5th movie and beyond. So maybe that's reinvigorated it in the public zeitgeist.
Essentially was like, the first one was met with kind of but like kind of favorable. 2 was pretty much dead. Nobody wanted to come back, so Vin Diesel on his own made Tokyo Drift, which
Awful
took,
movie.
People love Tokyo Drift. That's why the franchise exists today.
Really? Because everybody I hear
A lot
talking
of
about the
people
franchise
like
says that
Tokyo
they
Drift.
hate Tokyo Drift. That's
People
crazy.
like
Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift by itself brought the franchise back from the dead.
Really?
Because that's why he filmed that movie, because that movie doesn't include anybody from the franchise but Vin Diesel and Han, right? Everybody else is gone because they didn't want to come back. 3 did well enough, people came back for 4. 4 takes place in Brazil, and then 5 gets fucking nuts.
Family.
All right. Well, fair
Mia
enough.
familiar.
You know, the good.
Or is it dumb?
Getting back to the
It's very
the
dumb.
Snyder cut. We've blown past our hour here. I don't know if there's any succinct way to wrap this up. I mean, we really can't even cover a 4-hour movie in any succinct way because there was literally so much going on. I think covering our favorite scenes was...
I got this.
Okay.
I know how to end this. All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna do Batman real quick.
Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. Lando's laid in bed and he's got back up. Okay, he's got the shot glass.
Alcoholic drink.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah, he's taking a sip.
That's cool, guys. I'll see you guys later.
And that's it. End credits. He fucking left!
He can't join the channel thanks to Dragon Mini.
He's gone! He's gone forever! Hold on, I'll move him back. I think we should have some more final words. There's just a lot, and I think it's, like, if you have the time to sit down and watch the movie, you should watch it and get your own opinion on it. I would say, going into it, I would say leading up to this movie in general, I was very, not hopeful for how this movie would turn out, because I just didn't skeptical and very doubtful of this movie's, like, ability to do well, just because watching Man of Steel, which I didn't like because going back to what you were saying about how unhuman some of these characters are, specifically Superman, he's like I was legitimately tired after watching Man of Steel, because that fight scene that stretches for the last 30 minutes of the movie is just exhausting to get through. And I was just like, man, is this just what Zack Snyder does? And then I watched Batman vs. Superman, and it reinforced my opinion of, like, yeah, fucking Zack Snyder just does this shit, and it doesn't get better. It got worse somehow. So I didn't have high hopes, and I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. So if that's something that's, like, holding you back, the viewer, then I would consider giving it a shot. They definitely, I feel like, at the very least, they do good with the supporting cast outside of Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill as Superman. Like, I think they did good with The Flash. I know, Brandon, you had some differing opinions on that. Do you still not like The Flash? Or
I mean, I like the scene. I don't really like Ezra Miller.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just keep thinking about Perks of Wallflower Ezra Miller. And that's just really it. I can't get that out.
Yeah.
I also think I like the TV. Like, I would have rather the TV show Flash be the Flash in this one. I felt like he played the character better.
You mean like
Yeah.
There is a crossover between Ezra Miller Flash and TV show Flash.
Oh shit! Really?
there is, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I don't really like Ezra
Well, where
Miller
is it,
as
Lord?
Flash too much.
Huh?
Where is it? Where's the crossover?
I got you.
On the TV show.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm surprised they're still doing that show. Like, I guess it makes money.
that show's over.
I think
it's
I'm pretty sure it ended very
It
recently.
ended like a long time ago. I think.
Okay.
I don't like the TV show Flash either, so I guess
Does anybody really like the TV show Flash?
I mean, apparently, I had
Somebody
a friend.
did.
Yeah, I had a friend in high school
I
that
liked it.
loved like up until I think maybe they tried to do some kind of Flashpoint event in that show, and he liked it up until that point, and then afterwards it kind of got really CWE.
I mean, I guess I should preface this by saying I watched season 1 of Flash. That's all
Yeah.
I've ever seen of it.
Yeah,
and
people
I liked it.
generally-
I liked season 1 of Flash.
Yeah.
That Flash looked fun and cool.
Was it flashy?
got him. Oh, hilarious.
I'm dying.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely worth at least considering a watch if you're willing to put 4 hours of your life away. I think, to your point,
If you watch the original, maybe experience this so that you have a better version of the original that you have in your memory.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
you're like, I don't know, I don't like Zack. Like, if you want to watch, this is what happens when a director is given back power in order to do whatever crazy fucking weird passion project he wants to do.
Mhm.
Then yeah, this technically qualifies. But if you're like, man, I don't want to sit down and watch a 4-hour long Zack Snyder movie, then don't watch Lawrence of
Yeah.
Arabia.
If you like Superman, if you really like Superman, I would also say maybe don't watch this movie, because like it doesn't do anything for him in general. But like, Zack
He doesn't
Snyder
do anything.
on the
Also, it
whole
takes, like-
has just
takes,
done
like-
Superman dirty. I feel
It takes like 2.5 hours for Superman to even come
Right,
online.
we were legitimately. Well, I don't know how legit you were talking. I don't know. I think Brandon brought it up at some point, but like somebody was asking, like,
Yeah.
is Superman just not gonna show up in this movie? Like,
What do you
and
tell
that-
me? Superman died. I watched it at the end of Batman
Yeah.
versus Superman. Superman's dead. He's
It
not
would've
coming
been-
back.
Honestly, yeah, I think we said this while we watched the movie. That it would have been so funny if Zack Snyder just cut Superman. From
Yeah,
the
he
movie
just wasn't there
entirely.
anymore. That'd be very.
He still
yeah.
has that mustache, so I think we just need to get rid of his entire.
Just get rid of all of
The
them.
only answer.
Just get rid of all of it. It's all gone now.
I don't know. Watching this movie was also very weird because it's been a while since I've seen clean cut Henry Cavill, and I'm like, wow, this looks weird.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill.
Witcher.
It's very strange for me because I think I don't know. I guess for some reason the main Henry Cavill movie that I remember is fucking The Man from U.N.C.L.E. That movie that like pretty much nobody saw.
Classic.
But
Man from U.N.C.L.E. imperfect movie, but I still think it's kind of fun because I'm sitting here and I'm like, we haven't really had a spy thriller that I want to watch recently. And then they're like, what about, have you heard of The Man? And I'm like, what man? He's from U.N.C.L.E. And I'm like, what, you mean like my mother's brother? No. There's an organization called U.N.C.L.E. It's an acronym. And I'm like, perfect.
Yeah. Saw that movie in the fucking, what was it called? Is it the China Theater in Hollywood?
Yeah, the Chinese theater.
Chinese theater, yeah. I was out in California with my dad for some business trip or something. We just went to the China theater and watched.
That is kind of a wild movie to watch.
Yeah, it was just like, this is a really cool fucking theater. Let's just watch The Man from U.N.C.L.E. because it's on.
Dude, sorry, this is a tangent. I'll leave it for afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys have any other final thoughts about the movie or its execution on the characters?
Gal Gadot's a queen.
Who?
I liked it.
Gal Gadot's
Oh,
a queen.
yeah.
Not earth shattering. I liked it. Watch it if you care about the DCEU or if you watch the first one. Otherwise, 4 hours of your time could be probably better spent.
Mm-hmm.
I got a dip.
Sure. Yep. Any final thoughts, Nando?
Dip's bad for your health.
I think 4 hours is a lot for this movie in terms of like time investment. Definitely was worth it because I was watching with friends. But overall, good movie. Like, but I don't know if it's worth 4 hours of time investment.
You could watch the Kill Bill movies. You could watch Hamlet. You could watch Cleopatra.
You can watch Shrek. Like Shrek the Halls at least 20 times.
You can watch a lot of Shrek the Halls.
And that's the moral of the story. No, the real moral is they didn't fucking keep in the "we live in a society" line, and that's why it's a 0 out of 10. That's the final line. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back on later for fucking Pokemon shit. Till then, stay safe, and peace out. Good fucking Lord.
Isn't that right?